All right. Well, hey, Mondo Gonzales, the great Mondo Gonzales or Garcia.
Garcia.
Yeah, from Prophecy Watchers. We're here in the midst of the Victory in Jesus 2025 conference in Norman, Oklahoma. Man, it's been a fantastic venue thus far. Nothing super crazy has happened.
Mhm.
There's a lady down the hall waving flags.
Yes.
Is that part of the?
Not that I know of specifically.
It's like the I don't know what you call it. The
Looks like the Jewish. I've seen them a lot in the Messianic churches.
yeah, it's not disruptive or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like okay,
Yeah, passionate.
yeah.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts going into it this conference year? It's the 2-year anniversary since October 7th,
And we
23.
we were actually at this location,
Yeah.
so it was. It's very fascinating to think about that and all the things that are happening. Of course, this weekend, almost exactly 2 years with this new Trump plan, and we'll see how that goes. The hostages are not released yet. Uh, Hopefully, they are. What sounds like by Monday. But yeah, it's kind of surreal because one of the things that I think all of us realize is that it seems like for the last few years, probably since 21 or so, 22, every year we're like, oh wow. And then we think, okay. And then the next year is even more intense. And I think we're gonna be saying that until the Lord actually comes.
So I didn't go and listen here last time when that happened, but I think I was speaking or I was doing something else at the time, so I couldn't listen to Bill Koenig and Bill Salas and those guys talk. Was there anybody talk? Did anybody think it was going to turn out the way it did with the destruction of Hezbollah, like almost instantaneously, Iran, all that kind of stuff?
You know, no. I think even Bill Salas, who we interviewed, he's of course um, comes from the Psalm 83 perspective. But the way that was not part of, I guess that viewpoint is that Israel's immediate surrounding, enemies would be neutralized. But with Iran getting thrown in the mix, that wasn't part of it because I know for him, he's got, his inner circle and the outer circle. So the inner circle was going to be neutralized, but nobody as well, I think, realized that it would happen so fast. I mean, think about Assad in Syria. Where's he at? Yeah, no one saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming.
And now there's another dictator there, Jelani, but nevertheless, nobody saw that. So this is why we always have to stay humble. That's God has a way of turning it in inside fascinating ways.
I think in some, I don't know, menial way, God loves to just kind of like, oh, you got your prophecy chart out there. I see you spend a lot of time working on it. Let me tweak this little thing, and it kind of throws your chart all into disarray.
Yep, obliterated a little bit.
So I really wanted to pick your brain on Three Eye Atlas, this comet that's in our, it's here in the inner solar system now. It's interstellar. We know that it came from, they're estimating that it came from the galactic center somewhere in Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Just what were your thoughts initially, and has your thoughts progressed since then? Like as we know more and more about it. So where are you at?
It is the main. I subscribe. I'll say it this way: I subscribe to several substacks of astrophysicists, right?
Mhm.
And some of them, like this, they're all brilliant, above my head. But I mean, I love astronomy. I took it in college. Okay, so I can follow along. Okay, but the reason why we're even having this conversation about Three Eye Atlas is number one, it is very unique because it's interstellar. It's not a normal comet, so it's not coming from again our local area of the solar system or the Kuiper Belt or the Oort cloud or all the different places that they theorize. This one clearly, but it's only the third one that humanity has documented.
Right.
Okay, Oumuamua, 2017. There's another one called Borisov, was in 2019. So they look at these and they're like, But the reason why we're talking about it is because you have PhD Ethan Segal over here, and then you have Avi Loeb from Harvard, PhD in astrophysics. Both brilliant guys. Well, Avi Loeb, he kind of jumped on the wagon because he's in charge. He's at Harvard. He's in charge of the Galileo project. He's the director of it, and so that project is kind of meant to look for peculiar things. Okay, so but what he did is he began to talk about it, and he got some notoriety. Okay, if you listen to him, he kind of comes, he's just a narcissist, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a smart guy, but he started putting on there, he created what's called the Loeb scale, Loeb, which is his name, right? It's actually a good scale. You need to have it. So his scale is a 10 is completely artificial. It's an alien craft. Okay, one is just it's a comet. So, but what he started doing, and because he's obviously well educated, I mean, brilliant, he started saying, "Well, I think this is a 4 out of 10, or this could be a 5 out of 10." And so people are like, "What? What? You think this could be artificial?" So then, of course, social media picks this up, and then a lot of prophecy people pick it up, and but it's great for clickbait.
Oh,
It's nice. So all that to say, I sometimes he will write something, sometimes every day. So I get this. I read everything. I got a little folder, I'll be load folder. So I'm keeping track of all of this of his comments. But what keeps building it up, and he was talking about, and I won't go long here, just he was talking about that there's this percentage that he's looking at all these variations. Okay, it's incline coming in, it's going by Mars, it's going by Jupiter. If it was going to hide, it could hide behind the sun right when we would want to take pictures of it. And so he starts putting all these things out there, and then he's starting to get interviews. So, but it's interesting that his number at number 4 on the scale, which 1 is a comet, 10 is not
Independence Day. Okay.
yeah, exactly. He's still at a 4, but what he was building up to was Hubble took a picture, even the James Webb, but I mean, people don't realize it is hard. These things are small, so even Hubble couldn't resolve anything very well. But just recently, in October 3rd, European Space Agency, they took some pictures, which were okay, but the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, that was what everybody was waiting for. It was October 3rd, October 5th, right around there, because it would only be like 30,000 kilometers away. You'd actually get some decent resolution. Well, allegedly, so far they took the pictures, but they're not released yet. So it, of course, he's jumping on that, and when others are, and he's actually being a little bit more balanced than I anticipated. Is why aren't they released yet? Those pictures have not been released. They were taken a week ago or so. So the question is it something that they don't want to reveal, or that just unfortunately we're in the middle of the government shutdown?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there was no government shutdown, I would actually probably lean towards more of the conspiracy side, which I'm just always open minded to. But anyways, so that's where it's at now. I think right now, even Avi Loeb is unwilling, which wisely, and me either. Well, what do you think it is? I want those pictures first.
It seems like, a little bit of confirmation bias because remember all the stuff leading up to the Feast of Trumpets, the 23rd, 24th, the Joshua guy, and you have people coming online and like they are so convinced it's 9:23 that when they pay for gas and it stops on $9.23, or their bill is that, or they look at the clock at the right time and it's 9:23, you want to believe it so badly you begin to see it everywhere. But some of the things that Avi Loeb brought up, originally was the flat approach into the solar system at a 5-degree angle of approach, right above the ecliptic plane. The speed it was coming in, the exotic material, it wasn't acting like a normal comet with the anti-tail, etc. But one of the things I found fascinating from the get-go, and hardly anybody talked about, was that, and there's a couple of folks that did, but I was looking just at the solar system, right? So you have the sun, you have Mercury, Venus, the Earth, Mars, and then you have the asteroid belt, and then you have this huge gap out to Jupiter. And I'm thinking, okay, so it comes in, goes through perihelion, but as it goes back out, as it gets between 2 AU and 3.5 AU, so astronomical units, so it's 93 million miles per astronomical unit. So right as it's getting into that range, it's going to dip back down through the ecliptic plane, through the asteroid belt. And I was just wondering if this thing is as big as they think it is, and maybe it has traveling pieces with it or whatever, it's got to be hitting those things, and that could set off a chain reaction of comets like hitting a cue ball into a rack pull ball type table. So what's to say that doesn't happen, and that hits Mars, that hits the moon, and he could do any number of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where it's they're saying right now that you could potentially see it with a telescope. But I could take an image of it, but it would just it would be worthless. It'd be like a little dot. And like, oh well, okay, well that doesn't help us. It doesn't help anybody. But what you just described is that it going towards Jupiter and going on its way out over the next few months, really, we still got some time, is quite fascinating for sure. And some of the things, and this is the other thing that I find is, scientists, both like these guys, they're brilliant, okay, but at the same time, they're arrogant,
Yes.
okay, and there's this pride there, and I'm speaking as like a Bible believer now,
Right.
because for them, it goes back to Romans 1. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. And so what you see is when they speak, they speak with this level of authority, which again I understand, but it's like, well, it's for example, one of the things that saw through spectroscopy was nickel.
Mm.
Well, nickel's very rare, and it's like it's only an alloy that could be the specific one that would be done in like manufacturing. So it's like, oh, that could raise it up to a 5 on the Loeb scale. Well, we've seen 3 of these. Okay, this is the 3rd one. That's not a very big sample of the universe,
That's right.
right? And so they're making these judgments on this has got to be this because look at this, and you're like, I mean, how many really, in the sense of true um, observational science, is 50 years old? Maybe, with looking at comets, especially having the ability to look at them. So I think at the end of the day, like, look, our sample's small. We don't know exactly. We can't jump to conclusions. But again, um, he's
Well, since you've looked at more the sky than I have, I think in terms of through your telescopes and whatnot. I was briefing yesterday on things coming upon the Earth. I did touch on a little bit about what the Hubble, or what the experts are saying, that there's somewhere around 2 trillion galaxies out there. I mean,
it's up to 20 now.
the universe is
Yeah.
immense, immense, right? So even though if you go back to the time of Galileo, Copernicus and stuff, the prevailing thought was that everything revolved around the Earth, right? And we know that in a physical sense that it doesn't, right? That the Earth revolves around the sun, and that
True.
and that we're
What's in the competition?
oh wow, hey, that's a guess.
Oh, look at these guys.
What's your jacket? I'm just accepting money.
She's the truth. Oh, I know. I put out 3 or 4 of them now. I'm telling you, I get criticized if I wear jackets. Not them use a heat. Hey, look, Billy gave it to me like that. Yeah, I'm like, no, not that. I get criticized when people say I'm trying to steal his style.
Yeah.
Maybe screw tweet.
The secret since your patches on your elbows. Yeah. All right. What was that? Was saying, okay. So 2 trillion or
Yeah,
20
yeah,
trillion
yeah,
galaxies,
yep.
whatever. Universe is immense. If these things are coming from they're saying the Sagittarius
Yeah,
is the center,
is the center of the Milky Way.
right? If it's coming from that direction, then how is it? Is this something that would have been set from like the beginning of creation and it was already in motion because they're saying it's taken billions of years to get here, blah, blah, blah. Or is this something because Satan is the prince of the power of the air that he's able to manipulate these things and they're going to start coming? And this is just by
But thinking about like the tribulation period, the 7
yeah. So as these things are coming by the earth, and I'm thinking, well, why now? And I know we've gotten to the technology now where we're able to see and determine where these things are coming from, but we've had that technology for
for sure,
a couple of decades. Something as big as those comets are. And it seems to me that it's kind of too convenient that they're starting to come with repetition now, that it seems like when the rapture does happen, there needs to be kind of a ready excuse for it. Does that make sense? Or is that me? Am I
No.
my information bias reaching too far?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things that it's kind of like in Joshua chapter 10 when the sun stood still.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things there is that it says that basically there were like asteroids coming out of the sky. And it says more people were killed by the asteroids than Joshua. And I remember listening to Missler on this, 30 years ago. And he was like, well, because he was a physicist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he got a degree in physics. So, but he said, well, it's interesting that God put the trajectory of those in motion. Who knows, like creation, so that they would arrive at a certain spot at a certain time and come in and then hit these people.
That is fascinating. That's a fascinating.
So, in the same way, all these things that are coming, because again, when Jesus talks about things coming upon the earth, I think that there's primarily, not only, but primarily that is during the 70th week of Daniel, during the tribulation period. Whether wormwood or great mountain or great, torch, whatever the things, those are all put in God. They're in orbit, and they're heading here, and they have an appointment.
That is
So
sobering.
it really is and to me, you sit back and you go, God's just awesome. His not only his laws that he created, but he just put them all in orbit. So, so it doesn't even necessarily need to be that Satan is pushing these things or moving. Which I'm not saying that that's not within his authority or power.
Right.
He's got far more than I think we fully understand. But he's on chain, right? He's on chain. So what does that mean later? God allowing things, but.
But it's also interesting is that Avi Loeb is able to say what he's able to say now, I think, because of all the disclosure hearings we've been having, all the evidence, video evidence, the military grade, FLIR camera, video recordings, white hot, black hot. It's undeniable that these things and I had a clip in my presentation. It's like, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Somebody put together on TikTok. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's just showing all the stuff that's coming. And we flying past airliners, flying past jets, flying, and we don't have an answer for it. We don't.
Like defense, you mean? Like we don't have what do you mean? Like an answer?
We don't have an answer for it militarily.
Oh.
We don't have an answer for it politically. I think spiritually we have an answer for it, that these things are unholy, are fallen angels, bent on deception and that technology, and they're able to use that to deceive people. So I guess we'll close in this and saying that I can't help but think with after 70 something years of sci-fi fiction, the movies, the books, the music, the TVs, the musicals, how saturated our culture has become with Star Trek, Star Wars, and all that stuff. And then with all the weird stuff that's been happening, all the suppression of it by the government, keeping it secret for all these years, only for it now to bubbling over, kind of a reverse Project Blue Book, and it's at the same time that these things are starting to show up. And I don't know. I don't believe in coincidence.
No, it's priming the pump.
Yes.
That's
a good way to put it.
Of this generation.
Yeah.
And this, this in the book of Revelation, it talks about, it's very specific Greek phrase, but in English too, is the earth dwellers. Those that are dwelling upon the earth, which you don't want to be one of those. And because in Revelation 3:10, this time of trouble is coming upon those to test those who dwell upon the earth, these earth dwellers. But they are sitting duck for the great deception, all power, signs, lean wonders, and it's this kind of stuff where I feel bad really for anybody under 30. I mean, even us, we're 50. Where we were raised on this science fiction, Star Wars and everything else, even all the Marvel. I mean, all these things, extraterrestrials and
dimensions, multiverse.
Absolutely. And so for them, the only thing that's going to rescue deception is scripture. Because we're not going to, like right now, I mean, somebody said, no, we're in the age. Somebody sends me something and I go, how do you know that picture's real? Yeah. I can't believe anything.
Yeah.
That video, I mean, we can't really believe anything that's digital. Now, maybe if you had a picture from 30 years ago, but so even truth itself,
it's being eroded. Yeah. I think I mentioned yesterday too, that the only thing that's able to save people from that great delusion is the foreknowledge, which is why Jesus says, I tell you these things beforehand. So you'll know. So that you'll know. So if I said today, hey, Mondo, around an hour from now, this guy's going to come in dressed up like a flaming red dragon, and he's going to be squirting people with water and Kool-Aid and doing all kind of crazy stuff. And it's going to be shooting out of his fingers. And you're thinking, okay, that's insane. But if I hadn't told you that ahead of time, you saw it, you'd be like, oh, what is this? But that I told you ahead of time, then that kind of disarms that. So I think that's the power that God keeps to himself, the power of time, knowing the end from the beginning, like it talks about in Isaiah 46, 9-10. And,
as we know that there are going to be people saved.
Yeah.
So all the work that we're doing,
Yes.
really is going to be this repository of teachings. I hope it's available still, during that time. When will they cut the internet off or censor? We don't know. But nevertheless, there's still DVDs, there's other things.
Magazines,
Yeah.
books, there's everything.
So I think about somebody coming into my house. I have a little right by the door, a little Rapture section. Hey, I got a Bible. I got pamphlets. I got everything. This is what happened. So this is what you just said. This warning, you're looking and go, what? But that will be the one that hopefully rescues them from the full reception of it.
Yeah. I mean,
Everything they said that happened. Oh wow, I should listen.
thanks, Mondo.
Oh, he's good.
Thank you. And you got some bonus guys that came in as well.